folks, and how is it going? And welcome back to another video. We are in the hills, but soon to be on a beach. So don't delude yourself and think that we photograph anything else here other than the wonderful, wonderful ocean. Now, you might recognize these cliffs here behind me. These are the cliffs of the infamous Letters. And we are now revisiting a location that I shot, I think it was before Christmas. I wasn't able to get down to the beach, so ultimately we are here today to get down to that beach and see what it offers us in terms of photographic opportunities. So let's continue on the trail. We have about probably about 50 minutes until the sun sets, and we're going to continue on the trail, and then let's see what we can see. Quite steep, steeper than I thought, but I hope you can see what's happening here behind me because it is absolutely gorgeous. The sun is just casting this wonderful, wonderful beam of light on the side of the cliff face here, and the sea spray is ever so slightly just catching that light and really illuminating it quite nice. So just a nice little pit stop along the trail to stop and take this photograph, and fingers crossed it turns out okay. So let's take the shot and see how we get on. Welcome, friends, to the ASMR Photography Studio. Now, you might be thinking, why is he doing his smooth, buttery voiceover now when there's no photograph on the screen? Unfortunately, there were some technical issues with the microphone, which I really hope I actually fixed since. I think we were just a bit too far away from each other and the audio just kept coming in and out. So just be a bit forewarned that it does happen again a little bit later. So every time you see my crazy looking head come up on your screen and you think I'm about to start talking, and just lower your volume a little bit. It does fix itself towards the end. The clip after this, it just happens a small bit. So just please just do be warned, and forgive me, I really don't know what happened. And this is the result of the composition that I found. I am absolutely thrilled with how this image turned out. From using the rocks in the foreground that I found, and one thing that I didn't say in my previous little piece was that my feet got soaking wet, and I knew that the water was going to come up again to these rocks at some point, and it was just a matter of waiting it out, and thankfully it did. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful treat to see the rocks in the foreground and the water sweeping around the rocks as it brings us out into this sea stack that's just catching the very last of the light. I actually decided to intentionally blow out the sky. There really was nothing happening in the sky at all. It was just completely blue. For me, I felt that the blue in the image actually detracted from the overall frame. So I just decided to kind of crank up the highlights and just to really eliminate the blue. For me, I think it adds a slight bit more of an ethereal kind of feel to the image and a bit more of a dreamy kind of landscape, which is ultimately why I settled on sharing this particular version of the image. But overall, I'm super duper happy with how it turned out, and I'm really, really delighted with the composition that I found.
irrespective of the sea stack that we ultimately came down here to photograph, just by coming all the way around to the other side of the beach here, it kind of just blends in with the cliff edges, which is unfortunate. So the previous side of the beach, I think it just works better because it just gives us that bit of nice separation, so we can clearly see that it's a big gnarly looking sea stack coming up out of the water. But the light is absolutely wonderful. It's just really kissing the side of these cliffs so beautifully. So I'm going to head over here perhaps and see if I can kind of use some more of these rocks here in the foreground to try and introduce a nice bit of motion into the frame. So let's head over there and see what we can do.
So as I mentioned in that crackly piece of audio that you would have just listened to, the sea stack is lost against the cliff face, which is a shame, but using the foreground elements in a way such as I have tried to here, for me I think kind of helps to balance that. And the way the shadows ultimately carved themselves onto the cliff face and around the sea stack does slightly help in relation to the separation of the sea stack and the cliff, but overall I'm actually very happy with how this one turned out as well. For me it's just a very nice picture. I wouldn't go too bananas over it. Using the same kind of processing idea, I decided to completely blow out the sky just to add that extra bit of etherealism into the frame. But overall, super happy. But I think next time, just staying over the other side of the beach and finding different compositions will probably lend themselves well to better overall images, as I think this one slightly falls short. Do please let me know what you think in the comments.
So it wouldn't be an episode here if I didn't put on the 100 to 400. The best of the light on the cliff sides has kind of faded a bit. So now, as per usual, I'm just hunting and seeking more kind of abstract scenes. And at the base of this sea stack, I don't know if you can see it over here, maybe Orla can do a nice pan as she does so well. You might be able to see there's some nice cascades that are happening just off the edge here. And I'm just zoomed in on those, trying to photograph those to see if we can make something work out of them. And it's really shaping up to be very, very nice. So let's continue on shooting. And I don't know if we'll linger down here too much longer because the sun is setting now in the next couple of minutes. And the walk back up is going to be quite steep, and we don't want it to get too dark down here because, as per usual, we are the underprepared couple and didn't bring any kind of lights or torches. So we'll stick around for another short bit and see what we can muster.
So these images that you are going to see now turned out to be actually my favorite images. It seems to be a reoccurring theme for me that I end up going out to photograph a particular vista or grand landscape, and once that 100 to 400 lens goes onto the camera, it's like sniper mode and you end up finding these wonderful abstract kind of frames that just, for me, it translates such a wonderful feeling of power and excitement when it comes to photographing seascapes in this way. The second image, which I hopefully timed quite well for me to say that just popped up on the screen, is my favorite. I absolutely love it. I really love that the cliff face still has that orange glow to it, but then the more prominent foreground element of these cascades is in shadow and all the dark rock from it being soaked from the sea. I really love that image, and I think would really look very nice as a print. Now, on to the last image. I don't dabble in black and whites at all, and for me, I just thought, give it a try and see what happens. Please be as harsh as you want in the comments below in relation to what you think of this in terms of a black and white image. I like the composition, that's fine, but just in relation to the processing of the image. Like I say, I don't tend to dabble in black and whites all too often, but I pressed the black and white button and went, oh, maybe there's something there, and then just kind of played around with some sliders and some radial gradient filters in Lightroom. So nothing too extravagant actually happened in terms of processing, but I'm very unaccustomed to looking at black and white images, or at least on my own black and white images, so therefore don't really have a firm grasp on how to process them correctly. So do please let me know in the comments if you think I did a good job or not, and as I say, don't worry about hurting my feelings if you want to say that it's absolute crap.
So folks, I think we will leave it here for this evening. As I say, we have a bit of a hike to get back up to the top of the hill, and we don't want it to get too dark on us. But really absolutely thrilled that we came down here. First time coming down here, and I think we're both in agreement that next time we'll definitely come down way earlier, on a weekend perhaps. It's what is it now, Friday, because up and over the hill behind us here there's also potential for more wonderful seascapes that we can take advantage of. So but for now we'll leave it here, and as always, if you like the video then absolutely do give it a like, and if you fancy following along for more adventures then by all means do hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Take it easy, everybody.